Hey, it's Davo coming at you in 2026, first video of the new year. No, it's not a gardening video. No, it's not a guitar video. No, it's not an auto or fix-it video. I'm coming at you with a sort of a public service announcement about the latest of PayPal scams. And that's right, PayPal scams and how I got hit and how this actually works. So let me get started. First of all, I want to say I've been a very happy PayPal member for 24 years. That's what means I joined around 2002, which by my recollection, that sounds about right. I love PayPal. I don't think I could live my life without a PayPal account just because I use it to pay for so much stuff. While I'm a big time Amazon user, I still go to eBay and other places, Reverb and whatnot, that still use PayPal. So I'm not saying get rid of PayPal, please, by any means. PayPal's a great company. I'm very happy with PayPal, but that doesn't mean they're, immune to being scammed and exploited by the fraudsters out there. So let's get to it. What is this new PayPal scam and how does it affect you? Well, this is different. This is different than what we've seen in the past. Nobody is breaking into your PayPal account. It's safe. If you've got two-factor, even safer. And if you've got notifications every time you log in, you're doing it right. They're not going to break into your PayPal account. But let me tell you what happened to me, what could happen to you, and where the problem lies. And if you don't want to watch the whole video, it just comes down to this. Credit cards, debit cards, all that stuff in PayPal to pay for stuff, you are totally safe. You have nothing to worry about. However, here's the problem. When you link a checking or savings account into PayPal, this is where you're exposed. And when I say exposed, I'm not even going to say you're going to get your money stolen for that long, but I just want to explain to you what happened to me, what could happen to you, how the process works, and why having your checking or savings account linked to your PayPal might not be the best idea, right? So here's basically what happened. The day before Christmas, there was a charge that I didn't know about in my PayPal account. It came from someone I hadn't done business with before. I might have got a quote from this overseas vendor at some point. Maybe, I don't know. But somehow or another, this vendor had my information. And what it seems like was the vendor was compromised. Not me, not my account, but somebody that has a PayPal account that sells things, a vendor, merchant, whatever, got compromised. And once the vendor account is compromised, the vendor has all the information of the people they've sold to, quoted to. It could be a place where you had a subscription, any place that could potentially have your PayPal information because you were either going to do business or did do business with them. So once the bad guy breaks into the PayPal vendor's account, they can then start charging all the people whose PayPal information is saved in the vendor slash merchant account. And that's basically what happened to me. So my checking account got hit. When they did it, it came out of my checking account, right? Now, if this was my credit card, I wouldn't be making this video because I would have just called my bank or whoever and said, hey, bad credit card charge, right? And it would have come back like right away. But the problem with a checking or a savings account being linked in your PayPal is it's like a wire transfer, and wire transfers do not go back very quickly. It takes about 21 calendar days, which equates to about 15 business days. And let me break that down, why it takes so long. And it's not even PayPal's fault here. This is just how their system works. Being someone who's actually sold in the past a decent amount through PayPal, I get why they do this, but the fraudsters have also realized this now, and they're making use of it. So basically, the compromised merchant account starts billing all the customers that merchant had. And the worst part is a lot of times it'll say, hey, this merchant is on vacation for the next 2 weeks, month, whatever. That almost paints a target on the back that I can go after. If I was a bad guy, I can go after that merchant's account because he might be out of town. He might not be checking his PayPal. So the fact that they're telling people that the merchant's out of town is probably let's just say it's not the smartest thing to do. So then the merchant account gets compromised. All of the customers that merchant has done business with, the person who compromised the merchant account starts billing all of his customers. And that's what happened with me. And they will do multiple transactions until they start getting declined. And I understand there's a lot of fraud protection around the customer making purchases and all that. But I guess the way PayPal looks at it is that vendor's just crushing it. They're doing a lot of sales, right? It's almost like they trust the vendors more than they trust the customers. So the vendor account can sit there and just bill the crap out of all the customers. Since it was a transaction, there was a history between the customer and the vendor. It doesn't quite trip the fraud alerts like the first time you're doing business with somebody, right? So what happened to me was my checking account got hit until it couldn't get hit anymore. And then they realized that guy's done and they moved on to the next person in that vendor's address book list of customers, right? Here's the problem. And I understand why PayPal's doing this. I must have called them a dozen times trying to see if I can get this pushed through. When there's a problem with the charge and the customer says, hey, that vendor, I shouldn't have charged me, I didn't make it that charge and all that. In order to protect the vendor merchant, PayPal contacts the vendor and says, you need to explain this. The customer says, hey, you did not, the customer says they didn't place the order. And PayPal allows the vendor 10 business days to reply. In my opinion, that's probably twice as long as they should be giving them. But as a merchant that use PayPal in the process of selling things, I understand why they're doing that, right? Because there are shifty people out there that'll, shifty customers that'll buy stuff and then say, I didn't buy that after they receive the goods. And what the fraudster will now do in order to get paid, they'll go on to like USPS or UPS or one of those sites where you can get tracking numbers. Now, you're not going to get a tracking number to my address or your address, but you can get a tracking number that goes to the same zip code, right? You won't even know what the address is, but this fraudulent merchant charge, they're going to put in a tracking number that goes to where you live, your zip code of your town, to make it look more legitimate. And of course, they're not going to be able to produce a tracking number that says they shipped you anything, but they're going to produce a tracking number. Again, this slows down the PayPal investigation, which is what they're looking to do. After the 10 business days goes by, PayPal reserves the right to take 5 more business days for PayPal to do their own internal investigation. Once that's completed, you'll get your money back. But let's say you got $5,000 in your checking account. Well, guess what? That $5,000 is going to go on a little trip. In my case, it was yen. So, and I never bought anything in yen in my life. My money in my checking account went to go be converted to yen for about 3 weeks, and then PayPal pulled it back. And I got every penny back, but for 21 days there, I have a second checking account at a different bank, but I had to live off of bank account number 2 while thousands of my dollars were going over, becoming yen, only for PayPal to pull it back later on, 3 weeks later. But I got my money back this Friday, which was the 16th, and the money left my account the 24th of December. I called PayPal every other day to make sure they didn't forget about this, they didn't drop the ball on this, whatever. And I get why they're doing it. They got to protect the merchants as much as they got to protect the customers. However, if you have a checking/savings in that PayPal account, this could happen to you as it did to me. Ironically, when I talked to the PayPal customer service people at the end, and when the money was coming back, they said thousands of people had since been hit with this. I wasn't alone. It wasn't a one-off. They said this is becoming more prevalent and more people are getting hit with this. So the bad guys now aren't going after your PayPal account. They're going after people you do business with. They're going after merchants' accounts. They're compromising merchant accounts, even if they have two-factor. I don't know the mechanics, and PayPal wasn't going to tell me that much detail, but they did say that it's becoming a problem that the merchant accounts are getting hit. People are getting billed for things they never purchased or even bought. The money goes on a little 21-day trip before it comes back to you. It's frustrating. It's annoying. I can't really fault PayPal 100% on this one, and I'm not saying close down their accounts. I'm not closing down my PayPal account, but I can tell you this. I got my checking account out of my PayPal account because I'm not going to run the risk of this happening again. There are other ways to defeat this. You can have two accounts, two checking accounts, one that you link to PayPal in the same bank, and then one that you have your payroll go into, and that way you slide money between checking accounts when you want to pay for something. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, but that's another way of combating this. But I'm not even going that route. I am strictly using cards only in PayPal. This happened to me. It was really frustrating. It could happen to you. It might have happened to you already. And anyway, nobody told me about this. I found out the hard way, and I just wanted to put this out there, let other people know what's happening, and make your own decisions accordingly. But if you don't want to be at risk like I was, you don't need to have a checking account attached to PayPal to use it. So take this for what you will, what you think of it, but I just wanted to share my experience, get the information out there. So hopefully you're having a happy 2026. Good thoughts and good vibes to everyone out there that watches my channel last year. Hopefully I'll be getting back into gardening this summer. I'm not doing it over the winter. It was just too much work and I didn't feel like messing with it. But anyway, best of luck and best wishes to all people out there in YouTube land. And thank you for listening and have a great day. Bye-bye.